You just finished a beer with your friends, or a soda, or a plate of leftover pizza at 11 at night. It felt like nothing. But inside you, something just changed, and it happened whether you noticed it or not. Cancer used to be something that happened to old people. That's what you were told. That's what the statistics used to say. Not anymore. Doctors are seeing something strange. Colorectal cancer, the kind that used to show up in 60-year-olds, is climbing fast in people under 50. Dr. Yin Cao, an epidemiologist at Washington University in St. Louis, has spent years tracking this shift. Her research shows the rate of early-onset colorectal cancer has been rising steadily since the 1990s. People born in 1990 have double the risk their grandparents had at the same age. Why? Your 20s feel invincible. Your body heals fast. Your energy comes back overnight. But cancer doesn't start with a dramatic event. It starts quietly. It starts with damage that adds up, cell by cell, decade by decade, and your 20s are when that clock starts ticking the loudest. Here's what's actually happening inside you. Every day your cells divide, billions of times. Each time a cell divides, it copies its entire DNA code, and each time it copies that code, there's a small chance of an error. Most of these errors get caught. Your body has repair systems built for exactly this. But repeated damage over and over, year after year, increases the odds that one error slips through. One error that tells a cell to stop listening to the rules, to grow when it shouldn't, to ignore the signals that say stop. That's cancer in its simplest form, not an invasion from outside, a mistake from inside that your body failed to correct in time. So the real question isn't whether cancer can be stopped completely. Nobody can promise that. The real question is this. What is loading the dice against you right now in your 20s without you realizing it? Let's start with what's on your plate. Alcohol is not a gray area here. The International Agency for Research on Cancer classifies alcohol as a Group 1 carcinogen. That's the same category as tobacco. When your body breaks down alcohol, it produces a chemical called acetaldehyde. Acetaldehyde damages DNA directly. It also messes with how your cells repair that damage. Every drink is a small dose of that damage. Your liver can usually keep up, but usually isn't always. Then there's processed meat, bacon, hot dogs, deli slices. The World Health Organization put processed meat in the same carcinogen category as alcohol back in 2015. The nitrates and nitrites used to preserve it can form compounds linked to colorectal cancer when they interact with your gut lining over time. But here's the part nobody talks about enough. It's not just what you eat, it's what's happening in your gut because of it. Your gut is home to trillions of bacteria. Together, they're called your microbiome. And your microbiome isn't just digesting food. It's talking to your immune system constantly, shaping how your body responds to inflammation. A diet high in processed food and low in fiber starves the good bacteria and lets harmful strains take over. Researcher Mark Gunter, who studies obesity and cancer risk at Imperial College London, has shown that this kind of chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the clearest biological bridges between modern diet and rising cancer rates in younger adults. Not a sudden illness, a slow burn. Think about that phrase, a slow burn. Your body doesn't scream when inflammation is building. It whispers. Fatigue. Bloating, skin that doesn't look quite right. You brush it off because you're in your 20s and you're supposed to feel fine. Now think about sleep. You've pulled all-nighters, everyone has. It feels harmless, but your body runs on a rhythm called the circadian clock, and that clock doesn't just control when you feel tired. It controls hormone release, cell repair, and even how your immune system hunts down abnormal cells. Shift workers whose circadian rhythms are chronically disrupted show measurably higher rates of certain cancers. The World Health Organization has classified night shift work as a probable carcinogen for exactly this reason. Your body does its deepest repair work while you sleep. Skip that repair window often enough, and the damage doesn't get cleaned up. It accumulates.
Here's where it gets stranger. Fat tissue isn't just storage, it's active. It produces hormones and inflammatory signals of its own. Excess body fat, especially around your abdomen, functions almost like an organ that's constantly sending out low-level distress signals. Those signals promote the kind of chronic inflammation that gives abnormal cells room to grow undetected. This is part of why obesity is now linked to at least 13 different types of cancer, according to the American Cancer Society. Not because fat itself is dangerous, because of what it does to your internal chemistry, every single day, for years. Sun exposure works the same way. Every sunburn you got as a teenager, every summer without sunscreen is stored damage in your skin cells. Melanoma, one of the deadliest cancers, is now the most common cancer in adults under 30 in some countries. UV radiation doesn't just tan your skin, it breaks DNA strands directly, and skin cells that fail to repair correctly can become the seed of a tumor decades later. So what actually lowers the odds? Because there is real, tested, science-backed leverage here. This part matters more than any of the damage we just talked about. Movement is one of the strongest tools you have. Exercise doesn't just burn calories, it reduces circulating insulin and inflammatory markers, both of which are linked to cancer growth signals. A landmark study following over 1 million people found that higher physical activity was associated with lower risk across 13 different cancer types. Not a small effect, a consistent one, across almost every category researchers measured. Fiber matters more than people think. It feeds the beneficial bacteria in your gut, the ones that produce compounds called short-chain fatty acids. These compounds actually help repair the lining of your colon and reduce inflammation from the inside out. Most people eat less than half the fiber their body needs. Vaccination matters too, and this one surprises people. The HPV vaccine, when given before exposure, prevents infections that cause the vast majority of cervical cancers and a significant share of throat and anal cancers. It's one of the only vaccines in existence that directly prevents cancer, and it's most effective when given in your teens or early 20s before exposure happens. And sleep, real consistent sleep, gives your body the repair window it needs to catch and fix the errors that happen every single day inside your cells. None of this is about fear. Fear doesn't change behavior for long. What changes behavior is understanding that your 20s aren't a free pass. They're the foundation. Every choice you make right now isn't erased by tomorrow. It's filed away, quietly, in the biology of every cell in your body. You started this thinking about a beer with friends or a slice of pizza at midnight. Small moments, ordinary moments. But your body was listening the entire time, keeping score in a language you can't hear, one cell division at a time. The good news is you're not powerless in this. You never were. The choices that lower your risk are boring, unglamorous, and repeatable, and that's exactly why they work.